Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This week's story is called Bent Handlebars. Saturday afternoon, I had come for the weekend to do laundry and to talk to my parents. The semester had ended and I had received my final grades. None of them surprised me, except the D-. Somebody must have taken pity on me because I failed everything else. I read through the paper again as I waited for the dryer to finish. Somewhere around midterms, I stopped caring. I didn't attend class or wrote papers, never even took the finals. I went to work, ate, slept, nothing else. I played with the rainbow knotted bracelet an old friend had made for me. Happier times. The main reason I was back in town this weekend, I wanted to restart my life. I had a new job at Vermeer's Floral. Technically, I had transferred from their store by the university, and I had a small apartment lined up. The job began on Monday, and the apartment was mine on Tuesday. I only needed clean clothes and a place to sleep for a couple of days. The dryer buzzed on my final load. I pulled the shirts out and folded them. I had procrastinated telling my parents for weeks. I took the clothes into the other room, packed them away, and took my grades with me to the living room. Dad watched baseball. Mom played some game on her phone. Trevor, I told myself, just be brave. They'll understand and be supportive. They're your parents, after all. I stood at the entry, watching them for a moment, then walked in. Mom, Dad, I said, wiping my hands on my jeans. I need to tell you something. Can't it wait until after the game? Dad said. I'll be quick, I said. I only wanted to tell you I'm leaving college. Mom didn't even look up from her game. Are you going on a trip? No, I said. I'm quitting college. Are you insane? Dad said, hitting mute on the remote. You can't do that, Mom said, setting her phone down. I don't like it, I said. I hate college. I hate living in the dorms. I hate not having friends. Everybody I know lives 2 hours away. So email or call them, Mom said. It's not the same, I said. I don't have any friends up there. I don't like the classes. I don't like being so far from everyone. I'm incredibly lonely. My roommate and I don't get along. I hate it, and I'm leaving. Don't be a baby, Dad said. Of course you like it. Those were some of the best years of my life. I worked hard, played on the baseball team, and that's where I met your mother. We paid for half your tuition, Mom said. Are you saying we wasted our money? A lot of people have felt dissatisfied halfway through college, but they kept at it and graduated. I went through college and kept a 3.5 GPA, Dad said. You're my son, and I expect you to do the same. I can't, I said. I've failed everything. Only an idiot fails a class. What do you expect to do for the rest of your life? Flip burgers? Beg on the street? Dad yelled. You will take your classes seriously and try harder. Don't you get it? I yelled back. I'm not returning. You can't live here for the rest of your life, Mom said. Honey, it doesn't work like that. I know that, I said, and I'm not moving back home. You are going back to college, my father said, and retaking those classes. That's final. If you're lonely, join a frat. I tried. I'm not rich, and I'm not on a team, I said. It's only for 2 years, Mom said. Mom, really, I said. Join baseball or something. That's what I did, Dad said. That only works if you're good at sports. Find some nice girl in the cafeteria and ask her out, Mom said. Mom, you already know I'm gay, I blurted out. Have you even tried not being gay? Dad said. We're not getting into that issue again, I said. You are not dropping out, Dad yelled. College might not be easy, but they make it so anybody with half a brain can graduate if they are willing to put in the work. You would know, Dad, I said. Didn't you major in 2 things? Engineering and mathematics? Easy stuff. Dad bellowed. "You're being lazy and stupid." "I didn't inherit your brains," I said. Mom yelled. "Look at all the money you've wasted. Our money." "I don't like college," I yelled. "I'm wasting time with all that busy work." "What did you do with the money we sent you?" Mom asked. "You bought that idiotic bike," my dad yelled and stood, jaw clenched. "I spent it on tuition," I said. "I earned the money I bought my bike with." "Let's talk about that. What kind of a life can you expect as a florist?" Mom sneered. "You can't support a family, or have kids, even have a wife." "Back to that again," I said. "I thought you were comfortable with who I am." "Well, we're not," Dad said. "Honey, we love you," Mom said. "But when you chose to be gay, it meant we had to change our expectations a little." "Chose? You're disappointed in who I've become?" I said. "Imagine what it's like for me. My dad's Mr. College Genius baseball jock, and my mom won't take the time to understand me. Well, guess what? I didn't choose anything. It's how I am. I'm miserable at college. I hate the classes. I hate the teachers. I haven't met anyone I'd call a friend. You expect me to relive your glory days? Well, you go back to your alma mater and relive them yourself." "Stop being a brat. You'll ruin your life," my dad yelled. "You two have already done that," I yelled back. I grabbed my bags and walked out the front door. "How can a son of mine be so stupid?" my dad yelled out the door as I stowed everything on my cycle. "That's me, your stupid son." "Where do you think you're going?" Mom yelled. I put my helmet on and rode my motorcycle northward, up the coastal highway, just to go somewhere. I wanted to go anywhere but home. I paused at a light and texted a friend to see if I could stay over, but he never answered. The light changed to green, and I rode into the intersection. A flash of red. The sky spun. I was weightless in a zone of total silence. Then a hard thunk. I pulled my bike into a rest area overlooking the ocean. The salty breeze was cool and cleared my head. It was a nice place to pull off the road, stretch the legs, change a flat, have a picnic, or simply stare at the water. I needed a minute's peace and quiet to figure out my life. I parked, pulled my helmet off, and walked to a bench to snack on an old candy bar I found in my pocket. Somebody slept on the bench, an old hippie in a tie-dyed t-shirt and green and orange board shorts. He had long gray hair pulled back into a ponytail. The man was skin and bones, literally. A surfboard lay near his bench. As I went to another bench, he opened his eyes. I broke the candy bar in half and tossed it to him. "You look like you could use something to eat." The man seemed familiar, like the faded picture of someone I used to know. "That's nice of you, but Trevor, I was really hoping you wouldn't make it here." He put the candy bar into his pocket. "I don't even know where here is," I said. "How did you know my name?" "I get around. Call me Cary," he said. He stood up and walked over to my bike. He adjusted the angle it stood at. Then he pushed it over so it lay on its side. "That should do. You shouldn't be out at the rest stop. Any special reason?" "Watch it. That's my bike," I said, reaching to pick it up. "A nice one, too," Cary said. "Leave it. I have my reasons. Why are you all the way out here? You weren't supposed to be anywhere near here." "I went for a ride to escape my life," I said. "You?" "I'm waiting," Cary said. "Sometimes my job required a lot of it." "Waiting for what?" "Busy day today," Cary said. "You're waiting for something too." "I am?" I said. "What?" "Most people ask the same question," Cary said. "You're looking for an excuse to live, but not finding one." "I haven't been living," I said. "Yes, you have," Cary said, "but not your life. Whose life have you been living?" It didn't take me long to think of the answer. I walked to the edge and leaned on the railing. The sun had neared the water, and the sky turned into gold, with brilliant orange clouds. A couple of pelicans flew overhead. "Are you going to make me guess?" Cary said. "After today, Hopefully we won't see each other for decades. Answer an old man this question. What is living? One of the pelicans dove down and scooped something out of the water. Going to clubs, partying all the time, getting drunk, doing crazy stuff, and getting straight A's, I said. According to my dad, anyway. That's one way to live, Cary said. What is living? According to my mom, it's going to school, getting a job, getting married, having kids so she can be a grandma, I said. But I don't want that. Inside you do, Cary said, cocking an eyebrow. You'll find the right school if you're patient. And the right guy. How do you know I'm gay? Cary leaned on the railing next to me, a tiny smile on his lips. I'm good at reading people. Plus, the bracelet helped. You're avoiding the question. What is living? Breathing and eating, I said, not able to keep the bitterness out of my voice. That's all I do these days. The second pelican dove into the water and grabbed something. Throw in sex and you are as good as a microbe. Isn't life more than that for you? What gets you out of bed every morning? What are you, a homeless psychologist? I asked. Cary chuckled. We're not talking about me. Let's talk about you. What makes you happy? I don't know, I said. Not school, not my parents. Nothing does. The ground shook. Rocks fell from the edge and fell into the water. I clutched the railing to keep my balance. My side hurt. My hand wouldn't move. He's trapped, some voice said. Trevor Holden, age 20. The trembling stopped. An earthquake, I said. Something like that. What makes you happy? Writing, I said. It's what I do to get away from everything. Like your parents, Cary said. College, your grades. Do I know you? I asked. You're writing to escape the pain, Cary said. What if you rode towards something that brought you joy? Like what? You tell me. I wanted to ride across the states, I said. I've got a little money saved up. What's stopping you? Parents, college, job, I said. The sun dipped lower to the horizon. The sky grew a little more orange. The clouds turned redder. The ocean looked like it was made of gold. I wish I could stay here in this moment, watching the sky, I said quietly. Nobody yelling, no demands. It's nice here. Peaceful. You don't have time for that, Cary said. What do you want? I want to help people, like a cop or a fireman. Something that means something, I said. Making my job hard, Cary said, and chuckled. I think you just might. I don't understand you, I said. I want to travel. I love working with flowers. I want a man that I can grow old with, be happy with. Someone I can share a secret smile with. Someone you can love, Cary said. Or love you. That would be nice, I said. The ground shook again. I held on to the railing to keep steady. Some siren wailed in the distance. The sky became a flash of red and blue. Something weighed on my leg. My hand wouldn't move. Something was warm and wet on my side. A pressure depressed my chest. Trevor, stay with me, the voice said. More rocks fell, and I had to keep a firm grip to keep from falling. That's a big quake, I said. We tend to get them around here, Cary said. You need to figure out which way you're headed because you don't have much time. I don't want to head back, I said, because I don't like where I've come from. You'll have to, Cary said. But you need to build your life the way you want it, and you can't do it by running away. Ride back, and will you ride? Figure out what you can ride to. What if I ride the other way? Not today, Cary said, looking back at my bike. Your bike isn't quite right yet. Of course not. It's lying on the ground, I said. We walked to my fallen bike. I polished it every week, kept the tank full. That's a piece of your life you love, Cary said. But the position is off. Give me a hand. I lifted the bike, and Cary twisted the handlebars, creating a space underneath it. That should do it. You have a choice. Go back to your life and live it as you want, or walk away. But then you'll never be able to go back. Let me tell you a little secret. If you ride away, you'll never be able to meet him. The ground shook again. The sound of metal scraping against metal, an ache in my side. Something tapped my cheek. My hand wouldn't move. Squeeze my hand, Trevor, some guy said, and I'll take you to this restaurant, just the two of us. Show me your eyes." The sun had descended halfway below the horizon. The sky became a deep gold. The clouds became gray-violet wisps. "I want you to walk along the road and enjoy the sunset," Cary said. "Think about what we talked about, but go back the way you came." "Can I give you a ride somewhere?" I asked. "Thank you, but you need to leave your bike where it's at, for now," Cary said. "Are you waiting for someone?" I asked. "I was waiting for you," Cary said. "Now someone else needs a chance to rest a moment. Busy day. Who are you?" "Someone keeping you from riding too far," Cary said. A cold shiver ran down my spine. Cary? As in Charon? The boatman of the dead? The angel of death? Am I dead? Cary almost chuckled, and he put my helmet on me. "Don't take this off. Make my life a little easier. Walk back the way you came. It's a beautiful sky tonight, but you need to hurry." I walked down the coastal road, watching the sun settle below the horizon. I looked behind me and waved to Cary. He waved back. Then he turned and made some minor adjustments to my bike's position. I ran. My hand wouldn't move. It hurt to breathe. The ground shook. Something pressed on my head. Sirens. The smell of gas filled the air, and oil. Something burned. Someone cried. The ground shook even stronger. The coppery smell of blood was strong. A sharp pain stabbed my side. A huge pressure kept me from breathing. My right hand wouldn't move. The sunset and ground dissolved around me. I gasped, coughed. Someone's lips pressed on mine, breathing for me. My shirt was ripped open. Another person had been pumping my chest, right above my heart. "Breathe, buddy," some guy said. "You'll be all right." Early evening. The sky had darkened. Street lamps and traffic lights whirled around my head. Somebody had taken my helmet off. I laid near my bike. A large red pickup truck was above me. Its front tire pinned my bike to the ground. My hand wouldn't move because somebody held it. The blood was mine. Something ached in my side, and I was bleeding. Some man held my hand. No, that's wrong. It was the other way around. I gripped his hand hard and wouldn't let go. "Cary?" I squeaked. "He's conscious," the guy whose hand I held said. He wore a paramedic's uniform. "Don't move, my friend. Tell me if anything hurts." "Cary? What?" I gasped. My voice croaked like an old door. I tried to sit up, but the guy held me down. "Take it easy. Truck ran the red, but you were already in the intersection," the guy said. "Hit you on your bike. You flatlined for nearly 2 minutes." Somebody screamed. "Stay back, ma'am. You and your husband need to stay here," somebody said. "Let the paramedics do their job." Red and blue lights flashed all around. Sirens pierced the night noise. Streetlights blared down at me. Headlights, my bikes, and the trucks stabbed the darkness. "It could have been a lot worse," the paramedic said, blowing a breath out. "My name's not Cary. It's Eric." "Restaurant?" I croaked. Eric grinned. "You heard that? Your vital signs had faded to nothing, so I said anything to keep you here." "Did you mean it?" I asked. "After the hospital releases you," Eric said. "Italian?" I whispered. For a second, we shared a smile. 2 people came by with the gurney, and only then did I let Eric's hand go. I saw my poor motorcycle. It was scraped and bent, but the handlebars were at an odd angle, propping the bike up and creating a space underneath. My clean clothes lay scattered across the road. But the angle of my motorcycle was familiar. It had protected me from the truck and prevented serious injury. The people who rescued me only had to slide me out. It matched the angle Corey had made back at the rest stop. My helmet lay on the ground where somebody had tossed it, battered, but it had done its job. The EMTs wheeled me to the ambulance and loaded me on board. "Don't worry," Eric said, climbing in after me. "I'll ride with you all the way." Before they closed the rear doors of the ambulance, I got a momentary glance at the crowd. Mom and Dad held each other. Mom was pale and crying. Dad's eyes were red, his hair messed up. They said something to each other, but I don't know what. The old hippie, Cary, stood behind them. He held his surfboard next to him. The board reflected the red and blue of the police lights, but it had a symbol on top, a scythe. Cary pulled half a candy bar from his pocket, unwrapped it, and took a bite. With a little smile, he gave me a nod and disappeared into the night. "Thank you, Cary," I whispered.